What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Reformed Reader, the channel where we review different forms of media through the lens of a Christian who is under the authority of the scriptures. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be looking at 5 movies that I recommend for young viewers. Now, I keep saying in all of my videos that this is a channel where we review different forms of media through the lens of a Christian, but so far I've only reviewed one form of media, which is books. And so today I thought, you know what, I want to give some options to some of the families out there with some young viewers like myself that want to know, like, what are some movies that are marked safe for my family. So I'm going to go through 5 today. And I hope to be able to go through some more, maybe at a later time. So let's start simply with number 1. Number 1 is going to be the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. My son loves this. He loved the books as he was getting a little bit older. He's 11 now, so he's almost a little bit too old for it. But he loves this movie. It cracks him up every time he watches it. As far as I know, what's in here, there's a couple like potty humor jokes, nothing bad or anything like that. There's not any language in it. So this is a clean movie for young boys that if you have a young boy that it just wants to laugh his head off at a good, clean movie, this is an excellent one to pick up. So that's going to be the first one. The second one is going to be one of those family movies where everybody can sit around and watch, kind of get something different from it, especially because most of us have experienced this series at different ages and at its different ages. And I'm going to be talking about Christopher Robin. This movie is fantastic. Now, my little girl isn't as crazy about it because her and her mama, they love the original Winnie the Pooh movie. To me, I was never really crazy about it. It was just, I didn't grow up with it. And so that was part of it. But when we watched this movie just has that heartwarming feel, and to see the characters that we've known and loved for years come to life on the screen, and the way that Christopher Robin is interacting with them is, to me, it's just absolutely hilarious. This is one that I strongly recommend for a family movie night. Number 3, this one is going to be another one of those family movie nights, probably a little bit more seasonal, but at our house, we just watch whatever we're in the mood for whenever. And so that's going to be Rise of the Guardians. Now, this one tends to get slept on quite a bit. Not too many people are fond of this. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it did well at the box office, but it's great. It's fantastic. It's funny. It's emotional. There's moments of tension in here. You have that overarching theme, moral theme that you would want your kids to get out of their movies and stuff. That, it was sort of like when I was a kid. Almost all children's movies or movies that were even slightly aimed towards children had that undertone of righteousness or that undertone of morality. And this was sort of that callback to those movies that I watched as a kid. So this is an excellent movie for young families. There's no language in it. I mean, there's a bad guy. It's the boogeyman, essentially, because we're following different characters that pop up in a child's imagination, like Santa Claus, Jack Frost, Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, things like that. And so you're following these characters around that are all trying to defeat the boogeyman. So it's a super fun watch. It's hilarious. My kids get a kick out of it. So yeah, make sure you check this one out. It's a great family movie night. So this leads me to number 4. Now, this one is going to be a little bit unorthodox for most people. And as soon as I hold this up, pretty much anybody who's still watching this video is probably going to crack up, because most of us were raised on this. And I'm talking about the Ernest movies. These movies are so good and they're so funny. And I mean, they're just completely clean. It's good, clean comedy for kids. I mean, to the extent of most of the time when my kids are watching a movie that I'm not crazy about, a lot of times I'll sit here and read, maybe with some ambient music going or something while they're watching the movie, because I still want to be with them. But maybe I'm not, into watching whatever it is, Diary of a Wimpy Kid or fill in the blank. I may not be up to watching that. But when they turn on Ernest and if I start reading, I always find myself putting my book down, because these movies are so funny and they bring back such fond memories. And Jim Varney, there was just nobody like him. I will say that if you guys have forgotten about these movies and you have young kids, please pick these up because they are so good. I think most of them are actually free on Tubi. Just be aware that I think they're free with ads. So, just kind of know that going into it. But if you're looking to purchase them, They're not cheap. I remember watching these movies as a kid all the time. Ernest Scared Stupid was one of my favorite movies ever. So I went on, I think I went on eBay to try to find them, and I found this 3-pack, and it wasn't cheap, guys. So apparently it's not as common as maybe it used to be. So just know that going into it too. But again, it's free on Tubi, I think, with ads, or I think maybe you could even rent them on like YouTube or something for a couple bucks. But these are such good, clean comic movies. I mean, these are the movies where you just need a good laugh, a good belly laugh, you know, that slapstick kind of laugh. Ernest is always a good way to go. So that is number 4. I cannot recommend the Ernest movies enough. And that leads me to the last movie, which is going to be without a doubt the easiest pick for me. It's going to be The Lord of the Rings. Now, I said for young viewers, obviously there's going to be themes and stuff in here that our young viewers, they may not be able to grasp. It may go over their heads, and sometimes it may even bore them. I've got a friend of mine that's not a fan of Lord of the Rings, which I'm debating on whether or not to continue calling him my friend. But he's not a fan of it. And he said, it's just a movie about a bunch of people walking, you know, where I'm like, maybe there's a little bit of merit to that, especially if you're under the age of 5. For my kids, my daughter in particular, she can put these movies on repeat and then be done watching part 2 of the 3rd movie and go back and watch part 1 of movie 1. And I am with her wholeheartedly. I just don't want to wear myself out with them. These movies are so fantastic. Has such great themes of hope and perseverance and courage that I don't think we're going to see in cinema probably in our lifetimes again. So these still absolutely hold up. Favorite movie series of all time. Favorite book series of all time. If you guys have young kids and they haven't seen Lord of the Rings, what are you doing? I mean, there's magic, there's swords, there's battles. The only thing I would maybe have some hesitations about is I've got a couple nephews that they weren't crazy about the orcs. So some of the orcs, you know, there's some scary moments there. So I would say, you know, if you have really young viewers, either this may not be for them, or I would say watch it during the day with the blinds open, you know, because that's what I did with my kids, because they were a little hesitant about some of the monsters that are in the movie. So we just watched it during the day with the lights on, and they were perfectly fine. But use your discretion. But again, if you guys haven't seen this, what are you doing? So guys, that's 5 movies that I recommend for young families or young viewers. Let me know if you guys have others, because I'm always looking for other movies that I can trust my kids to be able to watch. So please leave them down in the comments below. If you got anything out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But most of all, please share these videos with your Christian brothers and sisters. I hope that I can be a resource to my fellow brothers and sisters who maybe want to spend their time, money, and energy on things that are not directly dishonoring the Lord. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you again, and I'll see you on the next one.